it came off kind of spiteful. You seem a little vindictive. These are the words I was getting as feedback from the speech I gave about a year ago today. The speech that would eventually lead me to second place at the district. How did I go from such awful words to feeling so extolled? It's a very good question. And I'd like to talk to you about it today, so thank you for asking. The International Speech Contest happens every February at the club level and eventually finishes in August with the World Championship of Public Speaking. Last year it was in Washington, D.C. This August 2017 it'll be in Vancouver. To get there, you have to win at your club, or at least represent your club at the area, then win at the area, the division, and the district, finally making it to the semifinals, and if you win there, the finals. The only requirement for participation is 6 speeches, which means everyone sitting in this room today could participate in February. Everyone here can get 6 speeches under their belt. Many of you already have, and if you aren't there yet, we'll get you there if you want to participate. 5 to 7 minutes about anything. Anything. What I've noticed, though, is that speeches about why the grocery store lines are annoying, or your favorite breed of dog, don't usually win the World Championship of Public Speaking. As I watched the best speakers, the best speeches go on all the way to the top of our district and beyond, what I noticed is that those speeches often had a very deep, resonant message. It usually required some sort of roller coaster ride. 9 times out of 10, it involved a death. I'm about to get petty here again because I'm so unlucky that my life has been so blessed. I don't have a lot of tragic death to bring into a speech. I lost last year at the district level to a beautiful speech called Peanut Butter Sandwiches and Forgiveness. It was about a man's grandmother who was killed in a drunk driving accident. When she was alive, she used to give peanut butter sandwiches with little messages written in them, open-faced peanut butter sandwiches, and she'd use a toothpick to write a message. And her daughter gave one of those open-faced peanut butter sandwiches to the young girl who killed her mother in a drunk driving accident to say, I forgive you. So deep. Michelle sat next to me, my rooting section there, bawling. And I said, darn it, I lost this thing. It was amazing. I was choked up. I knew that these types of messages are what it took to go the distance. I had seen Stephen Morgan give a speech called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And in it, he talked about his favorite teacher and how that teacher had at one point knocked him over a desk. He'd gotten so mad. It turned out that teacher was bipolar and eventually shot himself. These are the deep and tough messages that often show up at an international speech contest. And as I said, I'm very lucky. I don't have a lot of these messages. But I did have one dark place that I knew I wanted to explore at a Toastmasters meeting, but I never had that courage to get there. It was this time in my life when my friends in high school had completely cut me off. I had just gotten back from a study abroad program. I was feeling very connected to Israel where I had been, and I was trying to share it with them, and eventually I wore them out and they didn't want to hang out with me anymore. I really didn't have anyone else, and I was all alone, and I gave a whole speech about that. I did it at ACE, probably because I knew I needed some advanced feedback, and also because it's a much smaller audience, and I wasn't sure I was ready to share it with this bigger room yet. And sure enough, petty, vindictive, and spiteful, which is how I felt about that time. After hearing those words, I thought, maybe this isn't the right speech. Maybe this isn't where I need to go the distance at Toastmasters. I felt lost. But one of those people sitting in the room saw the pain I felt that day and wrote me an email and said, Jeremy, what if it's not about your anger at those people? What if this is actually about your change? The fact that you were different. And change can hurt, but lead to better places. It led to an amazing speech. I totally rewrote the speech based on that idea. It won here. It won an area. It won a division with a lot of help from my friends, like Scott, who sat with me for an hour and a half. And I almost went to international with it. No death, just me talking about different changes in my life. Fellow Toastmasters, there are certain elements you need to go the distance at international speech contest. You need courage. Courage is hard. It's not confidence. Confidence is when you already know you can do it. Courage is when you're standing up there and you're not sure if the lion's about to eat you. You need that courage. You need to be willing to go to a dark place. And you need to be willing to get the help from the room to find the right message. I hope you all look into your hearts. Find a place that maybe is a little bit scary, a little bit painful, maybe embarrassing, or even spiteful. Mr. Toastmaster.